Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Dr. Bonnie Delivers. With all the technical difficulties we've been having, I'm amazed that we're getting this far. We'll see how well this goes. Today's episode is entitled Being Open to Receiving. And stick with me until the end, and I'm going to give several of you a great opportunity to receive from me. So, if you think this sounds like an interesting topic, giving and receiving, please share this video with others because I'd love to have the message get around about giving and receiving. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach and the owner of Empowerment Coaching and clinical psychologist. Oh, hi Marlo, and she says we've got sound. Well, we'll see how well the sound sticks around once we post this. What I do is I help frazzled business owners and entrepreneurs and others to release their overwhelm in life so that they can enjoy their lives and their businesses more. I work with people who struggle with anxiety, depression, all kinds of different things. But my main goal is to help people up level and really live the lives that they came here to live. So, again, stick around till the end because I've got an amazing surprise that I can't wait to share with all of you. So, receiving. Let's start with a quote from Deepak Chopra, who said, "The giver benefits as much as the receiver." And I love that quote. And I love that quote for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to share some of those reasons with you right now. So, why I think this is so awesome, that the giver and the receiver both benefit from the exchange. It releases people from feeling guilty about being on the receiving end. When you know that the giver is benefiting as well, that they're enjoying the opportunity to give, it helps alleviate any guilt or fear or upset that you have about being the receiver. It's just part of the circle. Most people are real comfortable with giving, some aren't, but most people are real comfortable with giving, not very comfortable with receiving. So I would like, if any of you struggle with that, if you have a hard time with being a receiver, put that in the feed. Let's just get a little sense of how many of you do have a much easier time giving than you do receiving. One of the ways that I like to think about giving and receiving, and I've talked to other people about this also, is think about giving and receiving as being like breathing. You have an inhale and you have an exhale. Inhale is like receiving, exhale's like giving. So if you're just a chronic giver, you're pretty soon you're out of air. There needs to be a flow to the giving and the receiving. It's a circle, guys. It's a circle. All right? Oh, got us. Thanks. Glad this is good. I'm glad this is working. Now we're crossing our fingers that when I hit post, it actually still has audio with it because I've had 4 days of no audio. So we'll make this happen. So again, I'm going to repeat it again because I really want you guys to get the benefit of what I'm going to be giving when we get to the end. I'd like to put some of you in the position of being the receiver, the recipient. Going back to the quote, the giver benefits as much as the receiver. Another thing about that is both giver and receiver then create ripples out from themselves that keep the gift giving. It fosters good feelings in both the giver and the receiver, and they then pay it forward. Okay? So social psychological research suggests that when people even observe someone else giving, it makes them more likely to give. I would love to see that research the other way around. When we witness someone receiving graciously, does that make us more receptive, more open to receiving? I'd be interested to see what they got for results on that. And I do have notes today because we spent so much time on the technical aspects of getting this thing going that I didn't have much time to practice. So this is the Bonnie punt job. Let's see. A third thing that I really like about the giving and receiving benefiting multiple people is a giver can then feel generous continuing to give even if a particular receiver isn't all that open to receiving what they've been given. So if I give to Jane and Jane isn't very open to receiving, I can just let that go because I know that the giving creates a cycle, and that cycle is going to complete itself one way or another. There's that undercurrent of the cycle of giving and receiving that continues. Here's my favorite one, though, my absolute favorite one, because how many of you don't have to answer this, but I'd love to have someone put it in the post if they think this way. How many of you don't necessarily like receiving because you think that the giver has an agenda, that somehow you're going to owe them if you receive whatever it is that they're giving? Well, I'm here to tell you that this whole process sets it up so that the receiver does not need to feel beholden to the giver, because it's the bigger cycle. I do something wonderful for you, you do something wonderful for someone else does something wonderful for an additional person, and eventually that circle makes it back around to me and I receive. So it doesn't have to be a tit for tat kind of thing. I give to you, you must give to me. It can be this gigantic, beautiful human chain of giving and receiving. That's why I really like that idea. Let's see what else I wanted to say about that. There's basically a way to look at it is the people who are in the giving role have, while the receiving role also, have a faith in this divine system that all is returned to us. There is that biblical saying about, and I keep hearing two different versions, but what you give, you receive back manyfold. Some people say fourfold, some people say tenfold, whatever. You're receiving, you're giving, it's all lovely. So I'd love to hear your comments on this. I'm keeping this part a little bit shorter because I have this offer to make to you. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, your comments. What was most helpful to you in terms of the things I'm sharing about giving and receiving? What was the most thought-provoking? Put some things in the feed and let's see what we have to deal with here. But to sum up today's message, basically both giving and receiving create positive impact here on the earth. Okay, so you can feel good whether you're in the giver role or whether you're in the receiver role. Practice receiving, knowing that it gives joy to the giver and that it's part of this amazing bigger cycle of giving and receiving that we need to keep going around and around on this earth. If you'd like to explore this or other topics with me, I do offer a one-shot deal Ask Dr. Bonnie session, and I have a variety of programs and packages that I'm really excited about. When someone signs up for a program or a package, I get all geeked up because it's like, oh, here we got a chunk of time where we can make some huge life-altering changes for somebody as they're either healing from something or growing through something or wherever they're at. If you're interested in that, just send me a private message here on Facebook, or you can email me at bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com. All little letters all together. So here's my big announcement. Are you ready for it? Little drum roll. I'm excited about this. In the future on this show, Dr. Bonnie Delivers, I'm going to be working directly with people from the audience live on an issue that they'd like to address. This can be a personal issue, it can be a business issue, it can be a relationship issue, can be a hope or a dream that you want to manifest, whatever it is. But I'm going to be working live on some of these shows with people from the audience to help them accomplish what they are looking to accomplish. To start, we'll probably do this a couple of times a month, and in between I'll be doing topics similar to the ones that I've been doing thus far. So to be considered to be one of the people that I work with live, you'll need to complete and submit both an application to participate and a release, which I'll have posted below in this feed within 24 hours. I still need a little bit of tweaking on that. And if you have any questions about participating, I know I mentioned this in this morning's video, which only a couple people got to listen to because we were having the sound issues, but one of the questions that was asked was, if I choose you to work live on Dr. Bonnie Delivers, is there a cost for it? No, it's free. It's absolutely free. The reason I'm doing this is, I'll share a story from long ago. I had a colleague who had a client that she was really stuck with and things weren't progressing. And she said, I know you do these special techniques. Would you be willing to work with her and could I sit in? And I said, absolutely. So did one session with this person, massive change occurred, and that therapist said to me, wow, I had no idea what kind of work you did. And I thought to myself, yeah, that makes sense. When I'm out in the office bustling around doing my office part of the career I had as a psychologist, that's all people saw of me. When I closed the door, the only person who saw what it was I was doing was the person who was in session with me, the client. So this is a way to help people get a sense of how I work, what I do, how topics get addressed, etc. So for those of you who are interested in participating, again, I'll have 2 forms in this feed within 24 hours. Just fill them out, submit them back to me. You can submit them to my email, or you can just private message them to me, whatever works best for you. Again, my email address is bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com, all little letters all together. But again, if you have any questions about this, please post them in the feed, because if you have that question, I'm sure other people who are watching have that question also. And don't worry about, oh my goodness, I got to get this thing in and done because I want to get picked. Even if you're not selected the first week, I can keep track of the forms that people have sent in and use them from week to week. That does mean you have to be on the show, though, so that you know if you're picked and we're going to work together. I can see the little icons of who's here, but you need to show up in order to be available for us to work together. So that's it for this week's Dr. Bonnie Delivers. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach, psychologist and the owner of Empowerment Coaching. And remember, we're all capable of far more than we think we are. Have a great week.